evening, Synergy and Renegades viewers across the world. Welcome to this 10 versus 10 tournament. This is, of course, the 10 versus 10 tournament between Synergy and Renegades, here being hosted at Monza in Italy. It's 3.59 miles worth of circuit and 11 turns with 2 DRS zones. Some fantastic overtaking at the Temple of Speed. It's going to be just keep an eye out, of course, at scarring and parabolic corners, where, of course, we are expecting the majority of the action to be. And with that, of course, we have 20 drivers all ready and raring to go here. Synergy fielding some amazing fielders, with the team captain Hoonigan being led, of course, with Tapita, the Division 1 world champion, for the last 2 years running, with Avaste in second place with Hoonigan, and then Shaquille, Heatproof Ham, Assassin Bear, Paul Darby, DC Gunner, and M&M's leading the way. Reserve Sonic Super sitting on the sidelines in case anything goes wrong. Of course, for the Renegades, you've got Boss, Dai, and Njorna, with Big Daddy Roscoe, Sembeck, who has now decided to retire from this particular event, now being replaced by one of the other reserves within Renegades. Of course, Ali Glenn also in the mix with Paul LFC, Satnav in the mix with Warrior, and J-Job being replaced by reserve Bad Otter Television. Of course, to all of the 20 runners out on the field tonight, and those 20 runners will all have the opportunity to score some great points for the constructors. Of course, naturally, Synergy versus Renegades only, being a 10 versus 10, and an intense race ahead of us with a very intense commentary team, myself and Adrian the 8th. Adrian, it has been a little bit of a long time, but nonetheless, with something we're not really not used to in esports racing, unfortunately. We do expect this, don't we?
No, I think it builds character. That's the way I like to look at it. Anyway, if we can deal with these little hiccups and things on a weekly basis at times, then we can handle pretty much anything in our lives.
Well, I do believe that we can get through anything if we try our hardest. Unfortunately, we had to try very hard for this particular one, because we had a bulk of issues with the last lobby. Bulk of issues, unfortunately, resulted in a race restart. If you're unfamiliar with what happened, of course, we did get going with the initial race, and the qualifying seemed to go quite well. In the end, Synergy just managing to make out with a very, very good qualifying session, taking a 1, 2, 3 respectively for the team, with Avaste, Hoonigan and Shaquille leading the way. And then the Welshman Dai leading the way for the Renegades in 4th. M&M's managing to snatch that 5th place right out of Boss's hands, who starts 6th, with Gunner in 7th. Heatproof Ham crashed out of Q3, with Mjorna starting in 9th place, and then Warrior starting in 10th. And then the bottom 10, Tapita uncharacteristically knocked out of Q2, starts 11th tonight, of course, with Assassin Bear. Bad Otter TV also out of position as well, but gains a position, started 14th up to 13th, as with the rest of the field. Both Pauls starting 14th and 15th for either side, with Satnav in 16th, Glenn in 17th, Roscoe in 18th, Bailey Dog up position to 19th, and of course J-Job was actually the original runner in the original 10, but he ended up ended up replacing, unfortunately. Is it Sanjay? I can't pronounce his name.
He's now replaced Shembeck. Who was the original host. And I just want to shout out to RNG Warrior for resetting up the lobby. So I know it can be very stressful trying to do that after a restart, trying to get everyone settled and get all the information down. He's done it within a mere minutes. So
it's an incredibly frustrating scenario, isn't it? You just want to get on with racing, and I can't blame really some drivers for feeling so frustrated that they just don't want to carry on with the event, because they just want to get on with it. And it is just an unfortunate scenario that we have been handed a platform that isn't, let's be honest, finished. It's not fully finished. It never will be fully finished. I don't think any F1 game has really been fully finished since F1 2016, to be honest with you. So we're all having to deal with these issues, and some people unfortunately just don't want to deal with that, and you can't blame them for it, really. But we do have 20 drivers already and raring to go nonetheless, and great administration from yourself to find Renegades another driver in this 10 versus 10, because it's not really a fair contest when it's 10 versus 9.
No, not really. No, I'm glad that Yoppie is how you pronounce his name. I'm glad that he managed to that he was actually readily available and was able to sort of join at short notice. So thank you to him. And by the way, we go at 21:04, is just seconds away.
Seconds away from 21:04 for our start for this event, and the 30-second countdown will be beginning very shortly. I'm certainly going to be looking forward to this 10 versus 10, and for the first time in maybe around about 3.5 years of commentating, I am actually quite nervous for this after what we witnessed at the start of that race. Obviously, at the start of the last race, rather, we did have quite a few mix-ups, but of course, with that countdown now beginning, the drivers all getting themselves ready and raring to go for what will be a very, very, very intense 10 versus 10, which we hope will not be plagued with the issues that we saw earlier. Nonetheless, we have 10 seconds to go, and we will be getting underway with those drivers that are already lined up on the grid.
No formation lap, of course.
With there's no formation lap, of course, these drivers all getting themselves ready. Countdown all done. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, and it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go. The drivers, here they are. It's a really good start here from Avaste. Hoonigan, Dye also getting up in the mix and looking to make a bit of a rash dive potentially down that inside line. Is he already looking for P1 for Renegades potentially? Hoonigan's looking to try and sandwich him. Is he into P1? Dye is already up into P1. Slight little bit of nudging there with Avaste, who's going to get missed out here on Hoonigan, and potentially Boss in the mix as well as Avaste. Not a good start at all from the Division 2 and Division 1 World Champion for Synergy. Shaquille is trying to gain some ground on M&M's as well, with M&M's just covering off Mjolnir at the moment. Heatproof Am in 8th and Tapta already up 1 to 10th.
What a start from Renegades there, Dye in particular, up to P1, very nice.
Very nice indeed. There's your position changes. Dye up 3 positions. A great start. This is going to be one of the more important factors here. Avaste is already going. Hammer's already off of the circuit, and he's off at the first Lesmo, so hopefully he's not going to have too much damage for Synergy. Already down a driver. As Boss is looking to just try and keep down that gap, as Hoonigan is looking to put Dye under some pressure here, and a very, very good start from the Welshman. Actually, we did mention he was a driver that we'd have to watch out. Would the Renegades have to keep an eye out on him, of course, because he's going to be on for 20 points. So no, there's 26 laps to go, of course, but 20 points certainly going to be helping the Renegades' case here, considering it's currently a Synergy 2, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, this is a really good start from the Renegades. Yeah. Such a great start. He's notoriously good at his starts in the league races. He's done well here. Boss as well, P3.
Obviously up to P3 as well, up 3 positions as well. I think Synergy were caught a little bit napping here. Synergy, of course, used to the formation lap just to get an understanding of the circuit. Not in this 10 versus 10, following one specific rule that the Renegades wanted to use, which was no formation lap. And Synergy doesn't seem to have adapted that well, unfortunately. Let's take a look at what's happening at the back here, as we do actually have a little bit of a ding-dong battle happening here between the former Division 2 World Champion Bailey Dog, who's trying to close down the gap on the Scottish man Satnav for the Renegades, as he's looking to take P13, or P12 rather, as the number 57 just tucks back in, and Satnav actually into the Weetabix ever so slightly, trying to wiggle it off. Sector 2, yellow flags wave for Assassin Bear, and our first DNF falls unfortunately to Synergy, and the virtual safety car has been outed as a result, and it looks to me it's another casualty of the Lesmos.
Yeah, it does look like it. I hope this doesn't turn into a last man standing type affair. It's I know Monza can be quite harsh on drivers, on the cars, you know, especially Ascari. Lots of DNFs at that turn.
It would certainly be a very unfortunate scenario if we do end up out of action. Will Synergy already down 1 driver, as RNG Boss is just putting Avaste under pressure here, as he's up to P3 after the virtual, just before the virtual safety car rather. Avaste just getting in front, so it's going to be very much a very careful and steady scenario here. Keep an eye out as well on the tyre scenario, of course. You can't doubt Dye's performance, because he did a great start, but he is on the soft tyre, which means that he is going to get that first launch off the line a lot faster than those on the mediums, but nonetheless 1.6 seconds already after 3 laps, more than just tyre deg on that one. I believe that is just pure skill from the Renegades driver, and an awesome start for him as we do go green again. And Ali Glenn is in the going to be in with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, as I believe Hoonigan may also be in the mix with that one as well. We'll have to double check the scenario and just have a look, and it is a drive-through, so both teams struggling with VSC, but more so harsh for the Synergy runner, because he's up to P2 and he's the nearest rival to the leader, and he has got a drive-through penalty, and it is getting from bad to worse for Synergy.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him and the team, in fact. I wonder if Hoonigan will actually let Avashtek pass. Actually, Avashtek just... No, Hoonigan's lost it.
Oh, he's lost it, and he's just putting it into Ascari, and he's put it into the wall at Ascari, and I think that is more frustration for the South African, who is just not going to be happy that this scenario has now happened, as it now falls well in the swing of the Renegades drivers now, who have been able to adapt to the scenario a lot better, though. Keep an eye out on their strategy, because the strategy is not going to be the most ideal scenario for them, as he's going to have DRS available now, will RNG Boss, as he tries to close down the gap on Avashtek. Avashtek under pressure, going to have to hold it around that inside line, but on those medium tyres he just was not able to get the traction out to Parabolica, and he's relegated to P3.
You've got a 4-car fight for P5 as well. M&M's and RNG Warrior.
And some seriously intense battling as well there with Tapita and Miona as well. Tapita is the star driver of Synergy, well down the field in qualifying, has to earn his way back up, and he's clearly taking a more steady approach as we have Sector 1 yellow flags wave. Not entirely sure for what there, but Roscoe has got a 5-place grid penalty. Down the inside line goes Warrior, and he absolutely obliterates the corner, and he corner cuts, has to return back behind M&M's for what would have clearly been an illegal overtake. A bit of a rash dive, you'd have to argue, and nonetheless it has not worked out for the Renegades driver in P6.
Yeah, braking under pressure there. I think it's a genuine error, more than a deliberate attempt to cut the corner. Fair play to Miona, holding up Tapita. Actually, at turn 1 there, you saw him defending his position very well.
Yeah, Miona doing a good job there as Tapita just track extending a little bit out of Ascari. So this is the first time Tapita's really been under a little bit of pressure from the outsiders really in this one, because it's not really been a 10 versus 10 sort of thing for Tapita. Usually just kept on his own as M&M's going side by side through Parabolica with RNG Warrior as they continue going side by side, but M&M's had the more ERS available to him, and RNG Warrior is hemorrhaging time and positions here, and I believe that might be because he's struggling with the ERS management as he tries to cut off the inside line. So Tapita will say thank you very much. He'll go around the outside, but nearly a collision with M&M's as he collides potentially, and Miona would have to argue there may have been a slight bit of contact and maybe a cut-off there between the RNG guys and the Synergy guy in 7th.
Yeah, it looked almost like it was going to be a Hamilton-Verstappen moment just then.
That is Shaquille and RNG Boss towards the front. Still getting into the mix here, and again a few people, I think RNG trying to get some early moves done.
Tapita's just past Warrior on first Lesmo.
Tapita has managed to get past a very good move actually through the Lesmos, not usually the overtaking corners you'd see there, as M&M's has lost it, and he is out, and that's another Synergy driver out of action, and he's lost it at the second Lesmo, piled it to the wall, and we now have a full course caution. We are behind the safety car. Hoonigan might be back in the mix here. Dye leads this race, but he's going to lose all of that time to Avashtek. Boss has just managed to stay in front of Shakir with Miona in 5th, Tapita in 6th place. It's a 1-3-5, 2-4-6.
Big Daddy Roscoe would like to apologise to Heatproof Han. He had a bit of a mishap with his pedals. I think there was some contact with him and may have sent him off. So apologies for that on his behalf.
Some great sportsmanship from the runners at Renegades, just apologising for any inconvenience caused on the circuit as RNG Boss takes the lead of this race, as drivers all leaving the pits as Avashtek has dedicated himself to the 2-stop. Moving on to the soft tyres, Dye moves it over to the mediums, so probably not going to be able to go to the end on those mediums. It would be a risk. Warrior comes out on a set of hard tyres. Paul Davey with a penalty on his name is up to 8th place on the same set of medium tyres he started on, as Ali Glenn another time penalty for his issues. He's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so Ali really not having the best run of form at the moment for the Renegades.
No, he does struggle with his penalties, Ali. If he can sort himself out, shake him off, I think he'll be okay. But yeah, it is difficult. It's difficult. I made a mistake. Sorry, it wasn't Heatproof Han. It was apologising. It was Hoonigan.
Oh, collision with Hoonigan. So maybe that might have been the incident, perhaps, that happened to Scar. Oh no, it can't have done actually. Dawson is on a corner actually, wasn't they?
Yeah, I think it was Prix just after he come out. Served his drive-through. No, he didn't serve a drive-through. No, because he crashed before that.
Well, something happened. Either way, something happened, and what we do know at the moment is that it's currently a Renegades 1-4-5, a Synergy 2-3-6. So really close margins, of course. The extra bit of maths for those that are tuning into this 10 versus 10 tournament. Keep one firm eye out, of course, that anyone that's what scores points here tonight will be the people that have actually finished the race, or finished at least 90% of it. It's 20 points for the leader, and it'll be 1 point for those that finish in 20th. But of course, 2 Synergy drivers have DNF from this race, so it will be 3 points for the person who finishes in last place as it stands at the moment. So again, close margins here, as we do see Heatproof Ham now coming into the pit lane. And he now pits under the safety car, as well as Paul Davey. RNG Warrior, 5-second penalty for colliding with his teammate.
That's unusual. Also, it's unusual that both drivers didn't get the penalty. It's normally the case.
Warrior was deemed to be the man who dealt predominantly the collision. As Bailey Dog has now received a time penalty for his collision with his teammate as well. So just to say, Synergy is also not particularly innocent of that.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect indeed. Paul Davey comes out of pit standing P15 on a set of soft tyres. A mixture of strategies all around the field, and I'm wondering what's going through Avaste's head at the moment. So a man that you usually see at the front of the field. He was on pole by quite a significant margin, but racing-wise, he's not been really up there the last 7 laps.
No, not really, no. It's quite surprising, although he is now on the soft tyres and will surely be on soft tyres again, so he's going to be full beans now until the absolute end of this race. He'll be, I certainly have my eye on him, he'll be pretty dangerous. I just want to point out, Yoppie there in P4, he started at the back of the grid. He's gained 16 positions in less than 7 laps.
I don't have to argue as good there as Miona now getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with Warrior, would you believe, in all of that one as well. So he's struggling a little bit at the moment with dealing under the safety car at the moment. And actually, in fairness, the Synergy drivers have all got a rule about them in SynergyPWR. They have to make sure that they leave sufficient space in front and behind if they want to avoid penalties just handed by the stewards. So it's a little bit uncharacteristic of any of them to get a penalty under the safety car. Either way, we are going to be getting going green then any second now, but the safety car is coming in very late as Boss is going to be leading the way here, and here comes Boss now as he's actually caught Shaquille napping at the very last second. We go green again here at the Italian Grand Prix, and Tapita is looking to make some early inroads as he already makes the overtake on his teammate Shaquille, and he's hoping to potentially get mixed up there potentially with Boss, but chooses not to in the end. Shaquille holds back and stays in P3 as a few collisions happening, I believe, around the outside of turn 1 against Yoppie for Avaste, and a good move for 5th place for Synergy as he looks to close down the gap on Dai, who was battling with very hard at the beginning of this race, and the soft tyres clearly working a treat for Avaste, and so much difference between mediums and softs here tonight at Monza. He's now up to 4th.
Yes, great stuff from Avaste. I think he's come back on form. As has RNG Boss. I mean, if you told me he'd be leading the race at lap 8, I'd struggle to believe that, despite his pace and his skill. But yeah, no, he's managing to hold off Tapita.
We've got a bit of an army battle here between Hoonigan and 3 Renegades drivers. He's onto the grass, and he's going to have to keep it close because there is a little close on the wall under the bridge, but he holds it around the outside, and a double overtake potentially here for the Synergy Scheckter. I think he might have just made the move done there as he loses it ever so slightly through Ascari and drifts around that corner, but then uses the toe of Miona in front of him to then hold up the speed that he would have lost if he didn't drift around the corner. I mean, that's one way to make the corner, and fair play to Hoonigan. He's up from 9th to 7th in I would say in 1 corner. It was actually in 0 corners. He did it on the straight.
I think after that drift, we've now learnt why Hoonigan has that name.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Hoonigan name there is widely renowned for his drifting abilities. He's looking for the dive. That is so late on the brakes. He was making a little bit of a dummy move around that outside line and then tried to put Miona under pressure, but very well executed as we have a spinner in the back. We did see, unfortunately, Paul LFC spin out on the previous lap. Now Paul Davey for Synergy has spun the car on the next lap. So both Pauls struggling out there at the moment on the 9th lap of 27 in this 10 versus 10 tournament here live in Monza, as Heatproof Ham is guilty of time penalty for corner cutting straight up, and that's 3 seconds for him, and I believe that's a bit unfortunate as well because he did lose a few positions as well, so I'm wondering if he actually had that because he was trying to avoid something.
Yeah, I think he did the old bounce over the new curves, and it just sort of sent the car up into the air, gave him a penalty, slowed him right down, and he lost the position. So it was sort of lose. in that respect.
Oh, some changes of positions towards the front as Boss is really holding up the Synergy guys of Tapita and Avaste already up to third place, and Tapita's looking for it as he goes down that inside line. It might be a bit of a sandwich here. Here comes Avaste as well, and Boss might be relegated down to third in just before he even gets to Parabolica here, and he's going to be in a bit of a tight scenario here. Will the Renegades driver losing the rear ever so slightly, and Big Daddy Shaquille also going to be getting into the mix as well, as he's going to have DRS. Well, he's going to have the toe, no DRS at the moment, but Boss is going to have it there as Avaste is really aggressive on the defense, and he's going to have to go down the middle of the line, will Boss, and he's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. And what a move from Boss this will be if this works around the outside line. Avaste trying to hold on for dear life, but he does manage to get P2, does Boss, and Tapita will be devastated. He's been relegated to P3. I'm sure he thought that position would have been his.
That was excellent driving from all 3 of these guys. That's absolutely fantastic to watch there.
Shaquille also getting into the mix as well. He's slowly but surely finding ground as the Division 2 World Champion as he just closes on the back of Tapita. His question now is going to be, do I converse with Tapita here and tell him to get out of the way and let me have a go? Or is Tapita going to be able to get past Boss here? Avaste's already starting to pull the gap on Boss here, but he's not pulled it quick enough because he does have DRS down this straight.
I think Boss is feeling the pressure now. He's feeling quite lonely up there on his own with no green cars around him. Tapita's going to make the move at Ascari.
What a move down Ascari as well, and he keeps it clean, does Tapita, to relegate Boss down to P3. Now it's down to Shaquille, and a bit of a shaky exit as well, but look at that, he is struggling with electrical energy as Boss, and he's going to end up being relegated perhaps before Parabolic. He's going to have to think about his move. Is he going to get DRS? He's actually going to get DRS, I think, Boss, off of Shaquille ever so gently, but of course he's struggling for electrical energy at the moment because he's already getting that red blinky light, as you can see at the back of that Renegades car, and there goes Shaquille for a 1-2-3 for Synergy and a fastest lap as well for Avaste, and Dai is surely going to be saying to Boss, look, I've got more energy, I'm a quicker car as well, but that's so late for both of the Renegades down the inside line, and there's definitely been a collision as Renegades has got a 3-second penalty for Boss, and Dai is surely going to have to hand over 2 positions, maybe 3, as Big Daddy Shaquille has been massively held up, and that now makes it a Synergy 1-2-3-4.
That was exhausting.
I'll try to catch my breath.
Bloody hell. Yeah. Fantastic driving from these guys. You know, I appreciate there was a big dive there, but yeah, what pressure Boss was under to try and maintain the position. It's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Synergy as well. Yeah, they're really coming into their own now. Dai,
I think, is struggling with some damage at the moment, unfortunately. I'm just keeping an eye on him at the moment, and he is really struggling out there, and I'm wondering if he has actually got damage from the incident that happened there between him and Boss. I wonder if there's been a slight collision maybe in the mix there, but it does make it a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as Mjorna's made a mistake and nearly collides with his teammate, and I believe we have got a spinning car in the back, and that is Satnav, who has directed himself, turn left where possible, and he's put himself into the wall, and that is surely going to be a VSC, and it is a VSC for the drivers as they all slow down to 40% of their usual pace. Satnav will be hoping to hear the words, find a U-turn where possible. He's out of this race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. It's got a valuable points lost there for RNG. Satnav out.
So, currently as it stands at the moment, a bunch of drivers all electing now to make their changes onto different selections of tyres. Avaste, of course, is looking potentially to go to the end of this race on the soft tyres, which would be a bold call. Tapita has still yet to make his pit stop. Hoonigan technically doesn't have to pit either, but you'd expect he's probably going to pit. Mjorna and Bad Otter probably going to have to pit as well. They will struggle towards the end of this race. Heatproof Ham equally. Shaquille is in a little bit of a dark horse position. We do go green again here at Italy, but he is on our set of hard tyres, and we know that these hard tyres are renowned for being extremely difficult to warm up.
Yeah, you've also got one of the RNG guys, Yoppy, who was previously running 4th after climbing up from the back of the grid. He's also boxed for those hards, so yeah, we'll see how both of those get on.
I would say, if you were to pit for a set of medium tyres right now, you'd be in a great position, because of course you'd be able to go to the end of the race quite easily, as Heatproof Ham is slowly but surely trying to make known up here, as Bad Otter just manages to get past Mjorna for the Renegades, as they try to score what would be 16 and 15 points respectively. Heatproof Ham on for 14 points, is looking to try and get past Mjorna, who has just been struggling in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's 17 and 16, I believe. 5. Is it? Wait, is it? Oh, is it? Or is it the other?
20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yeah, some of
that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think Mjolnir let bad out a pass there just after Ascari.
It's a good move nonetheless here as Prix is looking to go around that inside line, heading through into turn 3. It's a long sweeping right-hander, but he's currently struggling for ERS at the moment, is Heatproof Ham. It's going to be mighty close stuff as they're still side by side as they head through into the second chicane, does Mjolnir, as he decides to make that jump and keep himself in front. It was more of an overtake to try and defend as opposed to defending from the position loss. So Mjolnir actually doing a very good job holding on to P5, but Ham's ERS management has not been the greatest and he's struggling on the straights as a result.
Yeah, he's a quality defender, is Mjolnir. Notoriously difficult to pass.
We'll see how Heatproof Ham does. He's done a few challenges against myself, and a few drivers apparently saying I'm a good defender, so maybe some training involved here. As Mjolnir just losing a little bit through Ascari, but holding on quite well for P5 at the moment. Heatproof Ham in P6. I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, Adrian. I'm just saying.
No, I believe you.
I like my racing, you know. I just like my racing. And so does Michael Schumacher as well. First, you have to finish on the front of the, on the inside of the Halo for RNG Boss, who's trying to chase down Big Daddy Shaquille at the moment. 12 seconds the gap between him and Paul Davey at the moment, but so far so good for Synergy, despite Brad Otter and Mjolnir being in that 4th and 5th place position at the moment. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Battling happening towards the back between P13 and P14 at the moment. Paul getting in the mix with DC Gunner, who had a bit of a half spin himself actually early on in this session. Did DC Gunner. He's been using the alternative Synergy livery because he didn't have it unlocked, but he's going to have DRS, he's going to have ERS, plenty of ERS as well to make the move potentially to P13 as he comes across the line and manages to get past Paul for P13. Adrian, it is, I think, started to settle down now eventually. It's took a little bit of time, but we're now just over halfway in this race, and I think we can finally have a cup of tea and just relax a little bit because heart-stopping stuff at times.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, that was a manic first 13 laps. Yeah, as you say, I think it's the drivers sort of settled into a bit of a rhythm now. Although, having said that, Mjolnir is still under massive pressure from Heatproof Ham. I'll keep an eye on that fight. I think that's the closest one we've got at the moment. But, yeah, it does seem to be a little bit more, I don't want to say timid. Oh, DC Gunner's lost it.
DC Gunner was just cut away from him as well. Would you believe that one? Unfortunately for him, it looks like he's lost it. Looks like to me he's lost it. Trying to find where is the blue dot is. He's lost it. It's
second Lesmo.
So we'll probably see actually on board with Roscoe at the moment.
That's a full safety car
as well, and that will be a full safety car as a result of that one. And there is DC Gunner's car, and he'll be apologising to the rest of the Synergy crew for that one, because that has now brought what would have been a nice, healthy sort of situation, you'd have to argue, for Avaste, Hoonigan and Tapter to pretty much nothing. But the crucial fact is let's be honest, Avaste and Hoonigan wouldn't have been able to get to the end on these soft tyres, and Tapter needed to pit anyway, so it might be a bit of a saving grace.
Yeah, it's certainly a silver lining, isn't it? It allowed the drivers at the front there to alter their strategy and just cover themselves off instead of find themselves under pressure from the tyres that they're on come the end of the race.
Indeed. Just keeping an eye out then as Roscoe gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane under the safety car, which is not going to help Renegade's charge at the moment. He's going to be scoring some points at least. He's going to be scoring 5 for the Renegades. Towards the back at the moment, and you may be thinking, well, you know, situation for Synergies, they're going to be scoring some big points here, but remember, first you have to finish, and the fact is 3 of the Synergy drivers out of the 10 that started have DNF'd, and only 1 of the Renegades has, so for every DNF they have, they're losing some big points potentially, and that's only going to be handing it over to the Renegades, and that will bring the points tally closer than you may think.
Yeah, every DNF just puts more onus, more responsibility, more effort on the drivers, on your surviving teammates, if you will.
Sorry, you may just hear me laughing because in the background I've just said that you're expecting Paul David to be one of the back markers. He now leads the Italia Grand Prix, lap 16 of 27, with 8 laps old soft tyres.
Is that legit? Is it? That is legit.
That is legit. Yeah, he can go to the end of this race.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Paul. Sorry, I didn't mean anything by that. I know you're a good driver.
It's absolutely nothing against Paul. We know Paul very well. He's all for banter. He knows he's not the quickest driver out there, but he does now lead the Italian Grand Prix in this Synergy versus Renegades 10 versus 10. and it is a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4 as it stands, though of course you'd expect Paul is probably going to have to pit, or at least he's going to hemorrhage positions on those old soft tyres. But as it stands at the moment, of course, the other drivers in the Renegades also had to pit as well, and under that situation, Heatproof did not get past Mjorna on track. He did it in the pit lane, and I'm wondering if Mjorna got caught up in the pits, you know?
Oh, he could have done, couldn't he? Yeah, that would make sense. That's interesting.
Well, opportunity knocks a bad off to TV, though, because on an individuals basis, it's actually been a very, very good race for Bad Otter. At the moment, he's actually up 8 positions of where he started. We did say he was one of the drivers alongside Tapita who absolutely were out of position in qualifying, and they've made it up. They're now up to 4th and 5th place respectively, and he's on for a driver of the day. Is the Renegades driver, but as it stands, Paul Davey will be the man on with the driver of the day, because he's up 13 positions on where he started and now leads the Italian Grand Prix.
Just going back to Bad Otter there for a second. Yeah, his last few races, he's had a bit of a habit of doing very well in quali, then doing terribly in the first few laps and going to the back of the grid. Then we'll have a safety car and he'll find himself up the front of the grid. Then he'll spin again and go to the back of the grid.
Oh,
then we'll have
Paul.
another. Oh no! Oh. Ow.
Oh, Paul, we love him so much, but he decides to pit and he speeds in the pit lane in doing so. Sorry, you were saying, mate.
Yeah, no, just Bad Otter's very sort of up and down. He's got some wicked pace. Absolutely one of the fastest, if not the fastest, driver over one lap. But yeah, just sometimes his races just they're very, very up and down. It makes things very difficult for himself sometimes. But good to see him up into P4 as the leading Renegades driver at the moment.
Yeah, we'll be happy with
Soft
that.
tyres as well.
Yeah, we'll be happy with that one with the soft tyres. Yeah, you're right in that one. As many people, just having to keep an eye out on the Synergy Discord at the moment, as people are just hopping into AI just to talk with each other at the moment, and people some people complimenting at the moment the some of the racing that has been happening at the moment. As obviously we have that intense moment towards the front with Boss, Avaste, and Tapta, I believe it was. Really,
yes, it was.
Intense stuff. As we're just back on board with Bad Otter TV with Game Over written on his halo. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. Why would you have that? Why would you have that printed on your halo?
I think it's Game Over for everybody else because he's in it.
But he
they haven't got a chance.
But he's the only one who can see it.
well, look, everybody can see it now because you're listening.
Yeah, everyone can absolutely see it. But as we go back on board with him again, there's the Italian flag written on the helmet. I believe it's the Italian one. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. But he's
might be Hungarian if it's on its side.
Might be Hungarian if it's on its side, or for all we know, it could be a slightly out-of-date Aquafresh, one of the two. Aquafresh not sponsored, by the way. Safety car should be coming in, I think, at the end of this the end of this lap, rather, and it is a very late call again. Once again, as Avaste is going to be the one that's going to be leading the charge here, and he's probably going to be what do you reckon? He's going to be chatting with the other 3 drivers. Say 3, 2, 1. We'll have to see. Let's have a go. 3,
definitely.
2, 1, go. There it is. And as he gets off now and goes racing, we go green again here at the Italian Grand Prix. And actually, Hoonigan has caught Avaste napping nonetheless. And he's probably going to say, you know what, Hoonigan, I think I should go for this one, Avaste. Don't try and challenge me too hard. And he's going to go down the inside line. And Synergy Schecter, despite the spin, now leads this race with Avaste in second place, Tabata in third, as we've got more people spinning. A 10-second penalty for Roscoe at the back for corner cutting. Unfortunate scenario for him. Heatproof has just been re-overtaken by Mjorna for P5, but he's coming at him again thick and fast. No overtake being used, though, so he's obviously want to put the pressure on him. He's going to get his wing mirrors. He certainly is, but he's not going to look for the overtake just yet. He has to keep an eye on, though, because, of course, Dai is just behind him, and he's a very
Mjorna on
driver.
the grass.
Mjorna in the grass, and very well caught, actually. Heatproof then retakes P5 off of Mjorna, but Mjorna's going down that inside line. He can't make the overtake. Surely at second Lesmo. That's going to be a call, and Heatproof Ham has just decided, you know what, I'm just going to take that one. And Shaquille has just said, you know what, fine, I'll have it too. And Ham relegated down 2 positions. That's a very bold call to go for that dive into the second Lesmo. And Mjorna now under some serious pressure as, of course, he tries to wear out the Weetabix on his tyres as Bad Otter TV. 3-second penalty. That could be detrimental if we keep it this close, as Ali Glenn also in the mix with a 3-second penalty as well.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic battle between Mjorna and Heatproof Ham, who's just tagged in Shaquille for him to have a go. It looks like he's actually going to get the move done at the Parabolica. And Mjorna might not give it up quite so easy, to be fair.
Dye's looking for the move on Heatproof Ham, though. He's derating, actually. He's been pushing too hard. He's now relegated down to P8, and Paul Davey, of all people, is now looking to try and close down the gap in the simplified Synergy livery as he tries to make the dive potential as Heatproof Ham. Chooses not to, though, as he keeps himself calm as RNG Boss now. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, he's
actually retired in the pits as well, so he's decided to call it quits, and the RNG leader, the RNG captain, is out of this race, and I hope that is not a sign of conceding, a concession from the Renegades crew.
Well, I do hope not. I do hope not. Although that wouldn't be the first time for RNG Boss, but yeah, it is what it is. That's unfortunate. He's looking so good, so strong in the first 2/3 of this race.
Heatproof Ham is starting to hemorrhage some time here as we have a spinning car, and unfortunately it's Bailey Dog. He's actually spun the car, relegated down to P14 as Roscoe is in the pits, 34 seconds back from Bailey Dog as he goes onto a set of soft tyres to at least take a point off of Synergy's hands for fastest lap. Lap 19 of 27, we have 8 laps to go in this event. And as it stands at the moment, things are starting to fall well in favour for Synergy here. It's a 1-2-3-5 as Bad Otter TV with that 3-second penalty will be relegated to P5, and Shaquille will take 4th.
Yeah, what Synergy might look to do here actually with these 3 drivers at the front, they might look to form a bit of a wall for Bad Otter and just sort of block him in, allow Hoonigan, for example, to put away and just keep him at bay, try and separate the drivers.
Nonetheless, it's been a very interesting one actually. This 10 versus 10 feels very much like a little bit of a move happening actually between Heatproof Ham and Jop, is it? So Yop.
Yoppy.
Give me Yop your mama. Yop your mama. Again, not a sponsor, the milkshake. I don't know why. You know what? I'm a bit loopy today.
Are you okay?
I think I am anyway. Probably just because of how close it is, especially this one here with this battle. We're very close. Has to jump the curb a little bit actually. As Heatproof Ham is looking just to hold off into the top 10. At the moment. So as it stands, we've got some very, very close margins as Shaquille has really closed down the gap on Bad Otter in this last lap. He's gained 2 seconds on him in this one. Bad Otter really struggling out there. That is a really late call to go for the dive, but then, or rather dive to try and defend this one as Roscoe is retired, and he's retired actually on circuit, hoping for a virtual safety car as a result, and a full safety car as a result of that one. He has retired. Let me just make clear, he retired on the circuit. He did not retire in the pit lane. And he's brought the full safety car as a result. And again, I'm trying to keep as impartial as I can, but that is really, really, really not helpful.
Yeah. Sorry, did he pause and quit there, or was that a crash?
I believe he paused and quit at this car. He didn't. I believe I saw the car. Unless I'm mistaken. I may be completely mistaken.
Yeah, the car's still moving, so I presume it's controlled by AI and just making its way to the pit.
Well, either way, it's not particularly helpful towards Synergy because, of course, Bad Otter, Dye and Mjorna are all going to be back on the back of the 4 drivers in front. We're all Synergy runners behind the safety car, but an opportunity knocks maybe for some who may choose to go under the pit lane here, go into the pit lane rather, and that is exactly what's happening to Paul, relegated to 12th, but he is now on a fresh set of soft tyres, and I have a feeling he's going to be uber quick.
Bailey Dog as well, he was 40 seconds behind Yoppy. He's now got an opportunity to get back in the fight. Deciding not to go in for New Sauce. I probably would have gone in for New Sauce. You don't lose anything, you're still going to be at the back.
Just having a look at the current points tally at the moment. So Synergy would be currently, as it stands, on 103 points at the moment.
Okay.
At the end of this one. Of course, many other points to be awarded on the opposite side of the Renegades. I'll have to double check what exactly their points tally is because I can't do math, which means I have to use a calculator. 19, 18, 17, I believe it was 16 there, with 15 plus 14 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10
plus 8.
8, which gives us 86.
Okay, it's 103 to 86, was it?
So I believe that's the current score tally at the moment. I might be completely wrong, and you know what? I probably am completely wrong because I am useless when it comes to
that looks
maths.
right to me.
And true story, I actually got less marks on my maths calculator paper than I did on the knock calculator at GCSE. And you know what? That probably explains a lot of things.
You and me both in that respect.
Let's just put the calculators away and just use our head while commentating at the same time. That's not going to overload us.
Well, I expect it was a few years before you than for me.
Oh well, I mean, game over for the Bad Otter at the moment with delivery, and I still can't get over why that's a thing on delivery, because yeah, it signifies something rather unfortunate, really, doesn't it?
Ominous.
Yeah, maybe. At the moment, Heatproof Ham, though, in 8th place, trying to close down on the guy in game over in 5th, with Diane Mjorna in 7th, and the 6th and 7th respectively. Very, it's been actually quite an entertaining race, and you know what? Fair play for anyone that is tuning in either live or watching this as a repeat. The man that you're hearing in the background alongside me, Adrian, is the person who actually set this all up. So in fairness, this has been, you know, one hell of an achievement to put together, you know, 10 people who have never met each other before with another 10, and then just get together a load of blue and green cars and just go racing. And you may think, oh, that sounds pretty easy, I'll do it myself. It's not. It really isn't.
Oh my God.
I can assure you on that one.
I wish it was. I really do.
I mean, look, we were debating a restart at the beginning of Q1. We ended up having a restart after the first race because of all of that major issues, excuse me, with the desyncing issues. But we ended up going on for what will now be a 5-lap stint to the end. I thought it was 5. I could have given it a guess there. 5-lap stint to the end as soon as they come across the finishing line, and it will be a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Hoonigan will be the person that controls the 3 cars behind him to say when are we going to go, as we have collisions happening, and Heatproof Ham and RNG Warrior getting into collisions under the safety car for 8th and 9th place respectively, and that is our first cross-contamination, if you will, of drivers under the safety car getting collision. And Hoonigan has gone, and I have a feeling is not really guided the Synergy crew there, because unfortunately Bad Otter is really getting onto the mix of Big Daddy Shaquille here. We go green again here at the Italian Grand Prix, and Hoonigan leads away from Vivaste and Tapita. Bad Otter is looking to try and make a move here for P4, and you do have a couple of other Renegades drivers in the mix here as Bad Otter does manage to make the move on Shaquille. Not the best restart there from Synergy.
No, it looks like Bad Otter is well up for this fight to the end now.
And the unfortunate
it's going to be all or nothing, I think.
The unfortunate nature, of course, is that the team at the Renegades have now lost their leader, their team manager, their team owner in RNG Boss, who retired on his own accord in the pit lane. Wondering again if that was a symbolic gesture of defeat. I'm hoping not to do so, because of course we do still have a race to finish before making any adjudication on the current scenario. Shaquille is trying to close down the gap though on Shaquille on Bad Otter. Wow, everyone's starting with B's, I swear. There's all the B's, and I swear there wasn't meant to be another, like, was it Big Daddy Roscoe, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Triple X Roscoe is Big Daddy Roscoe. Sorry,
right, okay.
I gave you his Discord name, not his game. Apologies.
Oh, that makes sense. You know what? I purposely put it in the graphic as well that they were both side by side with each other.
I noticed that.
And thinking, oh yeah, great, and then it's never mind. It's all for fun, isn't it? At the end of it, here comes Shaquille though, and no DRS of course, but he has the ERS available to try and attack Bad Otter. But of course, Bad Otter also has that similarly, who switches right and then switches back left again to defend from that position. He stays in P4. Does the Renegades Mercedes.
Just very quickly before something happens, just want to point out that it's not just me that put this all together. It's not a single-handed effort. I had quite a very good team behind me to try and get all the drivers. Oh, sorry, Bad Otter just did a wheelie over that bump there.
You know what? Just in all of that, trying to give accreditation for what has been a really fun little event between Synergy and the Renegades. You know, let's just have Bad Otter absolutely pile drive the sausage cave and wheelie. Yeah, you were saying, sorry, you've had a scenario with other people open out, as I think we're going to have Big Daddy Shaquille potentially make an overtake of Bad Otter, who makes the cut to the inside, out to the racing line rather, to keep Shaquille at bay and try and force a Synergy 1, 2, 3 only as he's hit the curb, and Otter is out of this race. And the Renegades are going to be absolutely devastated about that one, and Bailey Dog is going to make grounds for 9th place as a result of that one, as I believe Paul lifted off of Ascari to avoid potentially a collision, as DRS ironically has just been enabled. Sorry, the accreditation.
No, I'll come back to it post-race. I think there's a bit too much going on right now.
All right, fair enough. The accreditation, though, does have to go. Well, not obviously with everyone else that got involved with this event, but of course you did sort of produce the ins and outs of not just this event, but of course you did a lot of things for Synergy as well. You're a well-dedicated and understanding individual of the esports community, and well deserved, of course, of your alumni status within Synergy. And I'm sure Renegades are also going to be extremely happy with your efforts in this 10 versus 10 man.
Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that compliment, especially publicly. Thank you.
No, not a problem at all, man. You've been an absolute star, both in Synergy in the past, Synergy in the present, and I'm sure for many esports as well as Synergy in the future. 2 laps to go in this event as Heatproof Ham is trying to close down the gap again on Mjorna as he tries his hardest to. I could have wrecked his name in the end. No, you know what? It's Joey, isn't it? That's his name. He's mentioned.
Yeah, Joey.
Joey, publicly apologise. I will publicly apologise rather for no pronunciation of your name on multiple bases, but it is Mjorna. And you know, I almost did my. I probably can't say that actually live on stream.
Don't continue.
I'll talk to you about that one after. We'll keep going on with Ali Glenn, who's actually getting closer and closer to Ben Cannon, Heatproof Ham, as he closes down the gap with the DRS, and he's obviously ERS management has not been the greatest in this race. He's been struggling. This is not his best circuit, says Heatproof Ham. Relegated to P8, what will be now a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4, but that is a very unusual mistake from Ali Glenn as there's a collision of the front wing, I believe, to the rear end of Ali Glenn. Might have just got away with it, and I think Bailey Dog is going to be knocking on the door potentially of Heatproof Ham to just say, look, I can make this move work here. Oh no, that is miscommunication between the two Synergy drivers. Would you believe
they letting
it?
each other? What's going on there? Letting each other pass?
Yeah, I think what happened were Heatproof Ham was like, I'll let you pass, and Bailey Dog's gone, thanks, and then tucked in behind Heatproof Ham as he's let off the gas. Oh dear, communication, guys. These were the Tangerine Dream at one point, and clearly falling out of favour with each other just a little bit there with the penultimate lap of this Italian Grand Prix as they continue onwards through Ascari. It has been, in the end, a little bit of a mixed bag of events. There is a very, very wide from Ali Glenn through Ascari, and Heatproof Ham is just going to be monitoring the situation, as I believe is now letting off the gas to finally give Bailey Dog a chance of trying to close down the gap on Ali Glenn with the final lap of this event. It's gone absolutely flying by, hasn't it now? And I'm wondering if the Synergy guys in front are going to start to scratch their heads a little bit, go, should we stay in formation? Should we go for this one? Maybe. We'll have to see.
There's a bit of pride, isn't there? Oh, there's a bit of there, Yoppie and Bailey Dog.
Bailey Dog, and he's been forced to take the escape road, and he's trying to keep it steady, but I have a feeling he's just going to completely obliterate that one and just tuck in behind as he's relegated to P11 and 12 as both poles promoted to 10. And I think, why are poles just kept like they're magnetically attracted to each other, aren't they? All
yeah,
poles.
they
Have
are.
you noticed that one?
They are. Yeah, and I've raced with both, and I'd say they're approximately the same sort of pace as well. It's very similar drivers.
You know what? I mean, that's hilarious, isn't it? It's just all grounds, really, that you'd expect that kind of thing, really. Hoonigan, though, leads this race, and what will be I believe, his first race for Synergy this season, and he's going to be doing it in a 10 versus 10 versus Avaste, Tapata, and Shaquille for what will be a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4 as Ali Glenn and Yoppie are sort of crossing positions here for 7th and 8th respectively, but Synergy are going to be smiling from ear to ear after this event. Hoonigan, Synergy Schechter wins the 10 versus 10 tournament, and Synergy are taking big points here as Shaquille will come across line for P4, Dai comes across the line for P5, but time penalties being applied may help other people around the case here. Here comes the rest of the field. Ali again is relegated down, and all of the time penalties being applied. It will be Bailey Dog who scores the 10th, Paul Davey 11th, Heatproof Ham 12th. Warrior will come across the line at 30 seconds back in P13, but it is a Synergy 1, 2, 3, 4, but with a potential here of a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the Renegades. It might just be a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, 7 drivers finished for Synergy, 6 for RNG.
You'd have to argue that RNG scored. They obviously didn't get the top 4, but they obviously got the more consistent. Joppe get the driver of the day. Well-deserved performance actually from Joppe, to be fair, after the starting right at the back. He didn't qualify, so in fairness to him, he did a good job there. But it will be Hoonigan who takes the top step of the podium, and a very, very well-deserved podium as well. The captain of the team scores the full maximum 20 points, and he will be happy to be alongside his co-compatriots, second, third and fourth as well, of course, in Shaquille. And the Frenchman Tapeter managing to get that P3 as well from P11 on the grid as well. So fair play and great racing from the Frenchman on this podium ceremony. Synergy all celebrating extravagantly, shall we say, as we'll take another final look at those standings, as I hope to add up the points correctly with a calculator that I'm sure I'll probably get wrong anyway. It is a 20, 19, 18 and 17 point finish for first, second, third and fourth. And then it is 16, 15, 14, 13, 12 and then 11 with 10 and then 9 points for Synergy, which puts them at a total of 104. Whereas for RNG, it will be 20, 19, 18, 17. It will be 16 plus 15 plus 14 plus 13. 16, 15, 14, 13 and 12 for a total of 70.
Sorry, and RNG Warrior as well was P13. That's 8
P13 to 8 points. That makes it 78. So, nonetheless, a very, very good battle. I know really the points don't even matter, to be fair, in the end. It's all meant to be just a friendly tournament between both of the drivers. But, yay, Synergy wins. That is it for the Synergy versus Renegades tournament. Thank you very much to every single one of you. Adrian, it was as always, it's a pleasure to be commentating alongside you. And hopefully we'll be in contact sooner rather than later.
I do hope so, and likewise, it's been a pleasure being alongside you again, James. It's been a very long time, and I've really missed the Synergy boys as well. So it's really good to see those guys on track.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much for being alongside us. Before we go, you've mentioned, of course, that there's some people that we've got to thank for taking part in this event. Yourself being the main contributor towards this one. Who else was involved?
Well, we've got loads of the RNG guys actually. RNG Boss is obviously the leader of the league. We've got Shembek as well. Dai. I mean, there's literally everybody. RNG Warrior as well for setting up. But as I said, after the restart, I mean, everything like that just. It means a lot because I know it's hard work, and I know you get so much stick if you get it wrong. So I really do appreciate that. From everyone, and obviously everyone who showed up for the event, they're all well up for it and all responded to my prods, if you will.
Well, look, Adrian, you've led the charge for multiple cross-league events. The bottom line is that your contributions towards the esports community for minor leagues such as ours, small teams such as the Renegades, and further on should be widely more recognised. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and continued hard work for the community. Thank you to everyone else contributing in the esports community, and thank you to you guys for watching this 10 versus 10 tournament. It's been an absolute pleasure to be alongside you for this one, and if you are tuning in for Synergy, we are back on Wednesday at the usual times, of course, at 7:30 UK. With myself, the rest of the team here at Synergy Media Group, as well as SynergyPWR. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.
Bye.